So what did, you're at your second year now at National Geographic, and you're saying, what do I do now? So what was your goal at that point?
Well, at that point we started to, we made more documentaries, more
Right.
movies, and we started developing some films, some of which came out even after my tenure. We made, as a narrative movie, Peter Weir's most recent film, which is called The Way Back.
Okay.
Which is a really gorgeous, brilliant film.
Right.
And then at a certain point, National Geographic looked at it and they decided film was not really part of their core business.
Okay.
And they decided they didn't really want to keep doing it, so...
That was the beginning of your transition out then?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to make a number of documentaries, all nature films at that point, right?
Actually, not all nature films.
Okay.
There's a film that I love deeply called God Grew Tired of Us,
Okay.
which is about Sudanese refugees coming to America and the experience that they had there. We did a film called Amrika, which is a narrative film, the first film directed by Shireen Davis, and the first film directed by a Palestinian-American filmmaker that was ever given a nationwide release, which is also an immigrant story about a Palestinian mother and son who come to a suburb of Chicago. And their first year here in this country. So, you know, and then we also made some nature films like Derek and Beverly Joubert's The Last Lions.
Right. So you really were able to incorporate a wider range of stories within that realm that, at least for a few years, National Geographic was fine with doing that. But then there was the transition out, and you started working as an independent producer at that point.
Yeah.
So what was the new goal, or the evolution of the goal at that point? Was it to continue working in documentary, just nature films, or, and I know the answer, which is just telling good stories. But you had a specific kind of focus at that point.
I actually had I changed my personal business model. One of the things that I've discovered is that we're all entrepreneurs for ourselves, and the only business any of us are ever in is our own business. Prior to National Geographic, I'd been an independent producer. It was a time when you could really be an independent producer. Studios cared about producers. You could get deals, you could get overhead deals, they might give you space on the lot, they might pay you something for an office or an assistant or give you some development money. 7 years after that, the landscape had changed. Studio production deals had almost fallen by the wayside. And I changed my business model because I realized that it was not really viable just to be an independent producer unless you're independently wealthy. You can't really do that.
Right.
And that's not me.
Right.
So I turned my business into an advisory business where I advise and consult with production companies, entities that wish to finance films, and producers to help them navigate through the entertainment landscape, deciding if they should invest, how they should invest, if the movie should be made, how it might be made, if it's made, how it could be distributed.
Yeah.
And that ended up leading me into producing some films, because sometimes when you're advising people and they realize the scale of what producing a film entails, they say, Adam, would you just do it for us? It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Happy to do it.